Hello, my name's Janelle, and
Hello there, Janelle. My name is Purple Dan, and oh, hey, Skeptic Squids. I'm back.
this is the second of my introductory videos on crystal healing. This particular video is about a general overview of how we use crystals in healing.
Healing. What do you mean by healing? Do you mean recovery of physical trauma? Like, for instance, if I scratch myself like this, and then I take a crystal and I apply a crystal to one side, the crystal is going to aid in division of cells and start the recovery process faster. So I'll find that this part heals quicker than that part. Nope, look the same. Still a red there, still a red there. Assuming crystals will speed up the division of cells to aid healing, that would mean that applying a random crystal to any body part would rampantly speed up the division process, which is cancer, which is bad. Although there's crystals that are not just bad by Oogie Boogie standards, but are actually really bad. That's why I'm wearing gloves. This is crystallite, which is a form of asbestos. If I breathe this stuff in, it's rather bad for me, and I will develop cancer in my lungs. I would not even touch this. I would not even rub this against my skin because of the fear of getting cancer. Why? Not because the crystals possess some sort of energy, but because of the crystal's chemical composition. It's what it does that's bad. Furthermore, if you say that crystals help with emotional trauma and heal emotional wounds, that's still physical, because your brain resides in your skull, which is a physical thing. You can poke it and you can do stuff, like a lobotomy. Yeah, if you're talking about spiritual healing, that's, again, way beyond the realms of Earth, the realms of natural Earth. It's supernatural, it's outside of Earth, and it's, again, beyond measure, which is by definition not existing.
We'll be covering each of the individual ways of using them at a later date. Right now, we're just looking at how we use them. So first of all, the easiest way is wearing or carrying the crystal. I know a number of women who tuck them down their bras and men who wear them in their pockets. I tend to wear mine as in the form of jewelry, pendants, and you can get crystal spirals that...
Yes. There we go. Obviously you need to sell the crystals. You don't mention, however, how holding a crystal close to you is supposed to heal you. And I guess you're not going to tell us either.
Hold any kind of crystal that you want to put in it, particularly the tumble stones, but some of them go up to the size where you can actually wear a point. We also use crystals in a color therapy type of way. So,
color therapy is this what you were talking about in your previous video?
In addition to this, we also use the color frequency of the crystals, but I will go into that a bit more later.
Do go on.
We will use them with the chakras and the colors associated with the chakras.
Well, clearly you've been reading way too deep into Deepak Chopra's work. Chakras are supposed to be wheels of spinning energy. Smelly, please, tell me what a chakra is.
Well, Dan, chakras are points in the body believed to be the channel in which life force, or prana, moves through your body from the root chakra, starting at the base of the spine, and moving through to the crown chakra at the top of the head. There are many chakras, but the 7 running along the spine seem to be the only ones these idiots acknowledge. I mean, according to tantric texts, they're considered the most important. All of these ideas stem from ancient Indian religious beliefs surrounding meditation and yoga. The existence of chakras is not demonstrable at all and seems to only have benefit because they are usually associated with yoga and meditation. But those are good for you because it's stretching and breathing. That's about it.
Well, thank you, Smelly. So, Janelle, please, tell us how to align or balance our chakras.
this means that we can lay stones directly onto the body of various colors. So this, for example, is a set of chakra crystals, using 2 different crystals for the heart, because some people use green, some people use pink for the heart chakra.
Green or pink, so they both work. So it's just a matter of preference. That's not very scientific, Janelle. Or let's just look at the colors of the crystals you're suggesting, and let's look at the colors of the chakras from Deepak Chopra's website. Let's see how they compare. Starting with our first crystal, which is black, that does not correspond well with Chopra's website. According to him, the first chakra is burgundy. The second one is orange, which agrees with her. The third one is yellow, which also agrees. The fourth chakra is pink or green. Well, Chopra's website says green, so she's obviously wrong. For the fifth chakra, it's light blue, which is correct. And then she says the sixth chakra is purple. That's not correct, as Chopra says it's supposed to be a darkish blue. And for the last chakra, she says it's clearless. Which also makes no sense because Chopra says it's supposed to be purple. Now who's wrong and who's correct?
Crystals can also be used in Feng Shui and space clearing, so keeping the energy of a room or area clear.
Feng Shui is all about harmonizing the surrounding environment by means of orienting structures or furniture in a room. The rationality behind it is to create a space that it's pleasing to work or live in. It's subjective. Any person would have a different opinion what's a living space than the next person. I personally like a chaotic mess, while other people like things super organized. It's woo peddlers that added their own idea of energy into this ancient Chinese belief. For instance, crystals adding energy into the room, energy being a nebulous concept for these people, and then supposedly make the place better to work in. It sort of makes sense if you have a place that really looks nicely decorated with a bunch of crystals. Because I like crystals, and they make me feel pretty damn good. But it's only because they look nice. The same thing can be achieved with good art.
So you can use them in ways like having a large clear quartz cluster in the room will dissipate any negative energy and move the energy around so it keeps flowing.
You people really have no idea what energy is, do you? If you click on the little annotation right there, it'll take you to a website with a very basic and easy to understand idea of what energy is. You will quickly realize that it's not just some magical property possessed in some material around us that's floating around us. A quick example of actual energy at work is by using this little e-cigarette device. It has 2 lithium-ion batteries in it. Lithium-ion batteries in question is 2 18650s with the composition of lithium, manganese, nickel. If you complete the circuit, you'll see that it starts to get warm and then it will start to get red and eventually it will glow. What's happening is chemical potential energy is converted into electrical energy, which is converted into heat and light. That's energy. It gets stored and transformed. If I now go and take this crystal and put it against this device, then nothing happens. If I take this even bigger crystal and start wrapping wires around it and waving it in the air and dropping it on my head, nothing happens. Why? Because these things don't possess the energy you call. If I do this, put it on my hand like that, it possesses gravitational potential energy. If I drop this on my toe, it will hurt, but it has potential energy. That's physics.
I've also demonstrated here as part of Feng Shui using crystals in a grid. Now in this particular instance I've used quartz crystals around the table, but you can use quartz crystals or any other crystals around the meditation cushion where you're seated, around your bed. You can use them in the corners of the room, and you can also use them around a larger area such as a house.
Disregarding the fact that Feng Shui has no demonstrable effect on living matter, you go on saying you can use any crystal. I can just go and take salt and throw it around my house and that'll somehow protect me from negative energy. Again, not very scientific. Well, I can tell you one thing. Don't use beryllium as a crystal to protect you from negative energy. My friend gave me this crystal, and in a few days' time from when he gave me this crystal, I was sent to hospital because my brain went pop. For a month. And then I got discharged eventually, and then it was still in the place I left it. And then some weird terrorist organization managed to kidnap me. Of which they sounded suspiciously like YouTubers I've worked with in the past, but that might be a conspiracy theory. I didn't say anything. I don't want them knocking on my door again. Jacobus, take your damn crystal back, please. I don't want it anymore.
The grounds that your house is in. You can use a number of different crystals. The directions that you have them pointing in will vary the type of energy you get from it.
What type of energy? See these two crystals here? Completely different. And apparently, according to you, they possess energy. I'll say they possess potential energy because I'm holding them in the air and I can drop them and they can fall on my toes. Sure. But you say they're radiating out in a magnetic field or something. No. Just no. It's just not how it works. Otherwise you could have tested it. And these are two completely different crystals. What type of energy does this crystal possess, which is azurite in a malachite matrix, and what energy does this crystal possess, which is just a quartz chunk? That makes no sense.
So it can clear the energy, it can protect the energy in the area, things like that. So along with space clearing, you can also use them for protection.
Again, protection from what? Rationality? Logic? Definitely not stupidity, that's for sure.
In addition, there is a form of crystal healing using gem elixirs or gem essences, crystal waters they're also known, which is charging the water through using crystals.
Putting your crystals in water and then drinking that. This can only end well.
This is an example using a number of different calcites, but you can use all sorts of different crystals.
What she's doing there is not really dangerous. It's just water and calcite. If the water is really acidic, the calcite could be absorbed into the water, but I don't recommend you drink acidic water. I'm pretty sure, Janelle, that you believe in homeopathy as well. Homeopathy and all those sort of alternative medicine, it's definitely beyond the scope of my channel. Although this does involve crystals, and I have a bunch of crystals, so we can actually test this and see if the crystals actually physically change the water in any way. If there's any physical change, sure, we can analyze that and see if it'll have any medical effect on you. If there's nothing, then that completely debunks that there's any physical reaction between crystals, water, and consuming elixir, and all that process. So let's get to that. I filled 4 glasses with water from the same source. 1 for the control, 1 for quartz, 1 for calcite, and 1 for topaz. The temperature of the water at the beginning of the experiment was 25 degrees Celsius. The water was then left for about an hour before the removal of the crystals. That's now we're done, and out comes the crystals. I'm just trying to make sure not to contaminate the water with the other glasses. Here I'm quickly testing the pH levels of each glass. Not surprisingly, the pH level stayed at 7 throughout the glasses since it all was taken from the same source. In conclusion, that the crystals had no effect on the pH level whatsoever. The next step is to test if the crystals released any ions into the water. I tested the conductivity of the water by putting on a load through each glass of water using copper wires from a 12-volt battery. The amp rating I got from each glass was between 5.13 amps and 5.10 amps. It didn't change through the experiment. Lastly, I simply tasted the water, see if there was any taste change. Nothing changed. The only weird one was calcite, because my calcite crystal was a bit dusty. It's clear that the crystals had no physical effect on the water, well, these crystals in particular. They also didn't have any more supernatural effects on me, since I feel pretty much the same since I felt this morning before I consumed these elixirs. There's just no benefit in consuming crystal elixirs. Just please don't do it. You could very well end up poisoning yourself or consume some sort of carcinogenic material.
Doing it, although I do recommend you understand what you're doing before you start. Some crystals, not many, but some can be toxic. You don't want to poison yourself.
And yeah, remember, crystals help with healing.
There are ways of doing it with toxic crystals so as not to poison yourself, but I will cover that at a later time. In the meantime, stick to quartzes, rose quartz, amethyst, citrine, clear quartz or smoky quartz, or any of the calcites, agates, or jaspers. Should be fine if you want to use them directly in water.
Should be fine. Very comforting. Again, please, just don't do that.
I personally use a control crystal, which means I use a crystal I've attuned myself to and it has been attuned with me to direct the energy and direct the way in which I work.
Tuning in a crystal, like a guitar or a violin, I don't know what you mean by that.
So that is something else we may cover at a later date. But that oversees everything, my control crystal. Some people call it a personal crystal, but that's the idea. It's your main source, the main crystal that you use in the work. And also, there's a form of crystal healing called crystal massage. And there are a number of tools that have been devised specifically for this. So different types of wands that are smooth, little bits of points. You can use them in reflexology as well. This is used in something called druid massage, but it's a type of reflexology. We also have palm stones, such as this. These were devised specifically for massage. And little lenses like this one as well. So that gives you a general overview of different ways we can use crystals in healing.
Reflexology, that's also quack medicine, as similar as crystal healing. Now why not combine the two, sir, to those... Please, no. It's just a crystal, it's just an object, and you can do the same things with just a piece of wood or steel or whatever. As we already established in this video, there's no physical effects that a crystal exerts onto its environment, unless you're using uranium or something. Then it's actually radioactive. Yeah, go practice reflexology with radioactive elements. That is a good idea. That brings us to the end of today's video, Skeptic Squids. If you know of anyone that uses these sort of crystal healing or whatever, please share this video series with them. I don't want more people substituting real medicine with these quack medicine these charlatans spew out. Also, thank you for just sticking around during my absence. It's quite a long time, I know, and thank you for watching. Please comment and enjoy the rest of your day.